Hi friends, I sure have missed you and I'm excited to get a little time online visiting and reviewing the letters right where we left off. Today we're going to talk about letter H and letter I. We learned that H looks like a horse. Down, down, hook it across. I call my horse H. My horse named H. And when my horse runs away, I have to chase after her. And I make this sound when I run. Letter H. Today I want to read you a story about the Hippopotamus by Tony and Jan Payne. Illustrations by Guy Parker Reese. The Hippopotamus. Portly was a very young hippopotamus. He didn't ask to be a hippopotamus. He was just born that way, and he wasn't sure he wanted to be one forever. Hippos stood up to their eyes in water all day. They ate boring old grass all day. What sort of life was that? One day, Portly said to his mom and dad, "I've been a hippo long enough, and now I want to be something else." "Impossible," said his dad, shaking his head. "You're a hippopotamus, and that's the way it is," said his mom. But Portly was a very stubborn hippo. "We'll see about that," he said, and stomped off. "It's time for me to be something more interesting and to eat stuff with some taste," he called back. Portly had not gone far when he met a herd of animals. More hippos, he thought. But as he got closer, he saw that they had big spikes where their noses should be. You could do a lot of, tossing stuff around with spikes like that, he thought. "Excuse me," Portly said politely to the nearest animal. "What sort of creature are you?" "I'm a rhinoceros," said the animal through a mouthful of twigs. "Well, I'm going to be a rhino thingy too," said Portly. "But first I need some spikes. Where did you get yours?" The rhinoceros laughed. "You could say I got my horns from my mother." "Does she have any more?" asked Portly. "No," said the rhino, "you have to grow your own." "We'll see about that," said the little hippo. Portly found 2 pieces of wood and sharpened them until they were pointed like horns. He tied them on his nose, but then he couldn't see. He tied them to the sides of his head. He tied them on top of his head. He tied them underneath his chin. No matter what, they just didn't look right. He turned around to ask for some advice, but the rhinos were gone. So Portly continued on his journey with the horns sticking out just anywhere. Before long, Portly saw a strange animal hanging upside down from a tree. That looked like fun. "Excuse me," he said. "What sort of creature are you?" "I'm a bat, I think," said the animal. "And you are?" "I'm a hipponoceros, actually," said Portly. "So what do bats do?" The bat took ages to answer. "Eat stuff, hang out. It's not easy being a bat," he added. "We'll see about that," said Portly. He made some hooks out of bananas and tied them to his feet. Carefully, he climbed into the tree, and then he hung upside down. "Now what?" he asked. "Now," said the bat, "we wait." "For what?" Portly wanted to know. The bat thought hard. "Wednesday," he said. So Portly settled down to wait for Wednesday. But after 5 minutes, the bananas slipped and he fell out of the tree. That's when Portly decided that 5 minutes was just about the right amount of time to be a bat. A little later, Portly found a watering hole. Standing in it was an enormous animal. "Excuse me," Portly said. "What sort of creature are you?" "I am an elephant," said the animal. "What, may I ask, are you? I'm a hippopotamosaurus, and I'm going to be an elephant too, announced Portly. I want to spit water out of my nose. I want to smell something when I'm here and my nose is somewhere else. So I'll want one of those tube things, and I want some big flappy ears. And the elephant had to smile. Wait a second, young hippopotamosaurus. You have to be born with those things. But Portly was determined. We'll see about that. Portly made big ears from 2 large leaves. Then he made a trunk out of a vine. But what could he do with it? He wanted to trumpet tunes and pluck leaves and spit with it, but he couldn't. His journey was slow because his horns fell over his eyes. His hooks caught in bushes. He kept tripping over his trunk, and his ears flapped all over the place. By now, Portly was getting a bit bored with all this excitement. He kept thinking about water for some reason. Portly had not gone far when he met some new animals. They started on the ground, like you and me, but ended up above the trees. "Excuse me," said Portly to a knobby knee. "What sort of creature are you?" A head appeared from the leaves. "I'm a giraffe," it said. "What do giraffes do?" called the little hippo. "Eat leaves mainly," said the giraffe. "Can a hippopotamosaurus eat leaves?" Portly inquired. "I should think a hippopotamosaurus could eat anything," replied the giraffe. "Then I'll be a giraffe," said Portly. "But it takes years to grow all the way up here," exclaimed the giraffe. "We'll see about that," said Portly. Portly made 2 tall stilts out of branches and strapped them to his legs. But it was hard being so high up. "Easy, oops, uh-oh, help!" Portly was now as hot and as hungry as a hippo can be. "I know just what I need," he thought, and Portly started out on a long trail that led back to the river. Portly's mom and dad were standing up to their eyes in water when they saw their son. "Excuse me?" said Mom, knowing who it was, but not letting on. "What sort of creature are you?" "I'm a hippopotamosaurus," Portly said proudly. "Well, are you hungry?" asked his mom kindly. "I'm afraid we only have boring old grass for supper." "Do hippopotamosaurus eat boring old grass?" "As a matter of fact," said Portly, "they like it more than anything." "Then come and join us," said Dad. So the young hippopotamus removed his stilts and slid into the river. The water felt wonderful, and the boring old grass tasted better than ever. He did not notice his ears floating away, his trunk sinking, and his hooks and horns falling off. Mom smiled at Portly. "Our own little hippo doesn't want to be a hippo anymore, so there's plenty of room for you if you'd like to stay." Said Portly, looking up at some nearby monkeys and wondering what it would like to swing from a tree to tree by his tail. "We'll see about that." Now letter H says hippo, horse, hat. Most of you know your letter H. Here's the tricky part. We have to work on our handwriting of the letter H. We have our headline at the top, our midline at the middle, and our footline that's down at the bottom. You each have a worksheet you can fill out. The first thing I do is always the same. I pick up my crayon or pencil or marker and write my name. Write your name at the top of your sheet. Now take your pencil and find the dot, down, hook it across H. I'll show you here. Down. Oh, I didn't go all the way to the foot line. And hook it across right at the midline. Down, hook it across H. down, down. Hook it across H. Lowercase h. Down, back up like a dump truck. Beep, 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 beep. Hook it over at the midline. H. Down, back it up, hook it over at the midline. There's tracks to trace, but make sure you write an H on each dot. Down, back up, hook over, H. Down, back up, hook over, H. And then when you've finished with your pencil writing your H's, you can color the hat. Hat. Our second letter to practice today is the letter I. I, in the uppercase mama letter, has little antennas at the top and feet at the bottom and looks like an insect. Lowercase I looks like an ice cream cone. Ice cream cone. Letter I is a vowel and makes two sounds. Like an insect, ice cream cone. Today I want to read you a story where I is a word. We recently learned that I, when it's all by itself, is the word I. I don't want to be a frog. Written by Deb Petty, illustrated by Mike Bolt. I don't want to be a frog. I want to be a cat. You can't be a cat. Why not? Because you're a frog. I don't like being a frog. It's too wet. Well, you can't be a cat. I want to be a rabbit. You can't be a rabbit. Why not? Look, I can hop. Sure, but where are your long ears? Besides, what's wrong with being a frog? I don't like being a frog. It's too slimy. That may be, but you can't be a rabbit. I want to be a pig. You can't be a pig. Why not? Most of all because you're a frog, but also because you don't have a curly tail or eat garbage. I can eat garbage. Everyone says that until they eat garbage. Sorry, you can't be a pig. I want to be an owl. Of course you want to be an owl. Being an owl is the greatest thing ever. Boy, would you love being an owl. So can I be an owl then? No, of course not. Why not? You don't have wings. You don't look wise. You can't turn your head all the way around. You are a frog. What's wrong with being a frog anyway? Too much bug eating. I see. But still, no being an owl for you. Hey, why so glum? I don't want to be a frog. What do you want to be then? Not a frog. I want to be a cat or a rabbit or a pig or an owl, something cute and warm. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. I love eating cats. I love eating rabbits and pigs and owls too. And I am pretty hungry. I might just gobble up some right now. That's terrible. It's who I am. But guess the one thing I never eat. Badgers? No, I eat badgers. Lots of badgers. Frogs? Bingo! Why don't you eat frogs? Because they're too wet and slimy and full of bugs. Oh, so it's good to be a frog. Yep. I guess you can't fight nature. We are what we are. You are a fierce hunter. And you are a wet, slimy, bug-eating, very lucky frog. You should just be happy you're not a fly. What's wrong with being a fly? Both our stories today helped us learn that we should be happy with who we are. We can't always determine what will be or who will be, but we can always be strong and smart and use our thinking brains to learn new things. Let's practice the letter I. Headline, midline, footline. Letter I starts at the headline. I go all the way straight down. Give it antenna. I start on the left and go across the top at the headline. And give it feet across the bottom. I. Lowercase I start just below the midline. Go straight down. Give it a dot. Remember, we don't make big circles or big puddles. Not okay. Just down, dot. That's it. Here's your sheet. It has an ice cream cone. The first thing I do is always the same. I pick up my pencil and write my name. Now there's tracks you can trace. Down, across the top, across the bottom, I. Down, across the top, across the bottom, I. Then you can write your own letters below. Down, across the top, across the bottom, I. Lowercase, down, dot, like an ice cream cone. Down, dot, I. Down, dot, ice cream cone. And when you're finished writing your letters, you can color the ice cream cone at the top. Maybe you'll color it yellow for vanilla, or brown for chocolate, or pink for strawberry. You choose what you love. I love vanilla ice cream. Have fun working on your letter H and your letter I. I sure miss you and hope that you're doing wonderful. I love you. Goodbye.